Hey,
Hi, gang. Here we are again. It's the Newton County Holler, episode 11. I know I got to quit doing that. There's really no reason to keep announcing which
right.
episode we're on, but it's kind of fun watching this thing on down the line because we've come a long way, baby. And
Yes, we have.
it's getting better because now, like, every show seems to like be getting stacked with more and more people, places, and things from all around Newton County. And I think that is super awesome. So, Tanya, how's your weekend been?
It was great. It was busy, and it's really been a Monday. But to your point, I'm real excited about this episode. We got some great folks in this episode that we're going to talk to, and then you and I made some tracks again last week, so we can visit a little bit about that. But I'm really excited about our first guest.
Yeah.
Has a lot of information that is very useful, especially around this time. So if you're ready, I'm ready.
All right, let's get the fire chief involved because it's getting
Awesome.
hot in here, right?
There she is, Pam Emerson. Hey,
Hey,
Pam. This is great, isn't it?
yeah, it is awesome.
Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thought it?
Speaking of thinking, I bet you're thinking a lot right now because we're under a burn ban. So I know, is
We
that
are.
stress for you or?
Not too much right now. Can you hear me okay?
I can. You sound
Okay.
great.
It's not too much right now. It's sometimes, it's got a little bit of work to try to get one um in place, but we do have one and it's been in effect for several days. And we've had a few cases of maybe a tourist or someone coming that didn't know that there was a burn ban and build a campfire or two. But anyway, we got those extinguished.
Good deal.
And
Well,
but it's still dry and it doesn't look like it's getting any better anytime soon.
right. Well, I've seen the signs when you're coming into town, and then I see all the social media that you post, and it seems for
Right.
the most part that folks know, it's not a good time to burn, and
Right.
so, but it's like you said. Now, is the park and forest once the county's under a burn ban? Is everybody under one, or do they have to
Yes.
declare their own?
Yes.
It's the
They
county.
are. They're supposed to be. Yes, the whole county.
Good
Yeah.
deal. Awesome.
And unfortunately, we only have a few signs like we put them in the Jasper city limit signs. We put our burn ban signs, but anyway, the word spreads fairly quickly. That there is a burn ban, and I know everybody's trash is piling up, and we want to burn those brush piles before it gets hot. But
That's right.
just hang on until we get some rain. It'll take a substantial rain probably to make the ground wet enough to burn a brush pile.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It is pretty dry.
But the
And
best
you're in
thing we,
constant.
go ahead.
I was just going to say you're in constant communication with all the rural volunteer fire departments as well.
Yes.
You guys work really closely.
Oh yeah, we all work together, and as well as with the Forest Service, Park Service. We work with all of them and communicate with them also.
Uh-huh.
And what I was going to say is, just buy you some Newton County trash bags. That's what we've been doing at our house.
Right.
And take your trash. I mean, it's just temporary, and hopefully it'll be over soon. And keep your yard safe. That's one of the things that we preach around here is we practice Firewise. I'm sure everybody knows what Firewise is, but it's with the Forestry Commission, and we keep your yard as clean as possible. No trash piled up, and keep the grass short, and keep the bushes away from your house, because those are a great conductor of fire. Bushes that are planted real close to your house. But we've seen what fire can do to homes, and it's not that far away.
That's right.
They've
That's
had
right.
Texas and Oklahoma. I don't remember if it was Stillwell or Stillwater. I get those two mixed
Right.
up. That, you're seeing houses burn, even up by Hickory Creek, by Rogers, Springdale area. There was a fireman, a retired fireman, his home burnt that last week. So, I can't stress that enough. Keep the stuff away from your house. Don't stack your firewood underneath your deck, even though that's a great place to put it. It's going to be dry.
It
But if
stays
that
dry.
pile ever gets on fire, we've seen it happen.
That's right. That's right. I was going to ask if you had a wand, and I know you do, that you could tell everybody to do one thing, during to be safe, what it would be. But it sounds like keeping everything.
Just don't burn anything for a little while.
Right.
Let's just hold on, and we'll have plenty of time. As Harold Gordon told me once, it's going to rain. It always does. Words of wisdom, from Harold. From it Harold. Always has. So it will rain, but let's just, everybody just hunker down and don't be burning.
Awesome. Thank you, Pam. Thanks so much for joining us today.
You're
we
welcome.
Really appreciate you and all the work you do with the volunteer fire departments. Thank you.
You do know my name now, right?
I do.
That was a good one.
I do it all the time. It's a deflect. It's like a cog. Jim, I gave you her maiden name in her email address. That's why she didn't receive her email on time. So,
well, that's all right because we made it work. By golly.
Glad you made it, Pam. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So there's been a fantastic conversation there with Pam. And again, everybody, be so super duper careful. Don't burn anything outdoors. It's a terrible idea. Now, I'm up here in Boone County, and we have the exact same problem with the burn ban in pretty much all of the state of Arkansas.
To see some of the things that we saw today burn, I mean.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I mean, seriously, because between the Ponca Nature Center, when we got to chat with Lauren and then take the tour around, and we'll have that coming up here in a few. And then, of course, once again, big shout out to Jasper Getaways for being a sponsor of the Newton County Holler. And we got out there to the Hasty Cutoff and got the grand tour once again with Chris Burris with Burris Construction. And it's absolute. I'm just always so dumbfounded with the incredible luxury that you find inside of these cabins. It's not talking down about anything, but it's that presumption you have when you think about camping and you think about a cabin. I think about Grizzly Adams and Ben. I don't much think about a luxurious cabin in the middle of the woods. But guess what? They've got those, but we'll come to that here in just a few. I was going to say a minute, but you know what? That would have been a little segue because now it's time once again take a look at the Monday Minute brought to you by the Newton County Chamber of Commerce. And let me guess, it's chock full of good stuff. I already peeked. So, you could have already peeked too at 7:00 this morning. Had you just go to newtoncountychamber.com, signed up for the list, and get it in your email inbox every single Monday morning at 7:00. So, I think it's fantastic. It really is. And even though sometimes the features you put in are very interesting because like this article in this week's from Once Upon a Time Ago from 1965, 60 years ago is kind of a depressing story talking about the situation. I mean, folks, annual income was less. Well, it was just a little over $500 a year.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what that would be in today's dollars. It sounds horrific, but something, I wasn't here then, so I didn't know about, and it was neat to read. And also last week's was about 2 years later, and at that time they were starting to talk about damming the river or, a national park. So chronologically, it's interesting.
It really is. It really, really is. And then when you look back to that 100-year-old article, things are a little bit more promising, really and truly, because again, everybody was a little bit more on the level playing field of the great outdoors. And it's interesting. It really is fascinating stuff. And to think of the people who continue to push on, push forward, and thrive with all of that adversity against them. But look at where we are now. It's
well, I don't know if they would know, I don't know if the folks then would have, there were comments from, the school officials and everything, but I don't know if the folks knew they were poor, This month, this is to remind you to get screened. Check out American Association for Cancer Research for more information. And just a heads up, the Horseshoe Canyon Ranch is hosting the Arkansas Climbers Coalition Climbing Festival this weekend. They'll have a bunch of folks there, and as a result of that, you'll need a weekend pass. They won't be honoring day passes this weekend, so just make note. Load them up and move them out to the Spring Vaccine Clinic, sponsored by Affordable Veterinary Services. That's going to be on the 24th, 25th, 26th, and the 29th. Check it out. Dr. Neil Nedley will be at the Little Buffalo Convention and Visitor Center on March 27th from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. to talk about your peak performance brain recovery program. For more information, contact Ellen Martin at 446-2122. North Arkansas College is sponsoring a clay shoot on Friday, April 4th at the Bear Creek Ranch in Tilly. Be sure and check that out. Legacy Hospice will be offering caregiver tips at the Newton County Library on April 5th at 11 o'clock. Great resource for any caregiver with any questions. Don't forget Saturday, April 5th, opportunity for a watercolor paint party at the art shop of Shawnee Morris. She offers 2 classes. That's Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 or 1 to 3. The circus is coming to town on April 8th, and Crystal Cottage in Jasper are carrying tickets for your convenience. Check it out. Nurse Tina James is hosting a Stop the Bleed training on Saturday, April 12th at 10 a.m. at the Newton County Library. Reserve your seat now. Fish fry at the Senior Center on Friday, April 11th. Don't miss it. Shawnee Morris Art will be offering an acrylic paint party on Saturday, April 19th with 2 classes, one 10 to 12 and one 1 to 3. Also on the 19th, don't forget the Kiwanis Egg Hunt in Bradley Park starting at 10 a.m. On the 25th of April, you have the 6th annual Jasper, Arkansas Job and Information Fair. They're partnering with Community Matters this year to offer emergency and disaster preparedness as well. That's April 25th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Hey, where'd we go? There we are. Here we go.
There we go.
Hey, there we are. So yeah, once again, you can see the spring has sprung because there's so much going on in the area. And it's like, it's awesome because again, everything that it was winter is gone. So
Yes.
now then everybody's running amok amongst the hills and the trees and the valleys.
It is. I almost took a picture of the community garden this morning because it does look different than it did when we were there, but not quite enough that folks may notice yet, but it won't be long till we'll be checking back in there again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because again, that layout is so cool. It's like, it's like when we first went out there and just saw the beds, we're just getting ready to get ready. And I can only imagine how green and flowing they're going to be. So that's going to be really, really cool at the community garden.
Not only that, but the Ponca Nature Center, where you see where all the native plants are outside the center. When those start blooming and doing their thing, can you imagine?
Oh, golly. It definitely, I can't wait to go back out because, again, we had the opportunity to catch up with Lauren, who was going to be a guest on last week's show, but there were all kinds of little, internet hiccups and such. But we got to catch her actually live and in the field, so to speak, there at the Ponca Nature Center. And it's really cool because we kind of started our conversation off talking about the benefits of being with the chamber and then on the chamber board.
For me, it's really special because I'm from this area, and so it's nice to be able to kind of give back. I know sometimes I'm not always as involved as I want to be because work keeps me busy, but it is nice to be able to give back to the area that's so near and dear to my heart. I was working with 4-H youth in Russellville prior to this job, and when this job posting came into view, I was like, man, I think I could do that. And it's really similar to what I was doing for 4-H kids, and but it's here at home, and I just really appreciate being able to share conservation with kids in the area where I grew up. Something that people don't necessarily think about because we're kind of out here in the middle of nowhere. On average, we see around 10 to 12,000 visitors a year come through this nature center. We're pretty proud of that because we're a small center and we see a lot of people. We do a lot with our local schools, and that's something that we definitely want to continue. So I would just say schools in the area or even like 4-H groups and things like that, just because our open to the public hours are Wednesday through Saturday, we do a lot of group visits on Mondays and Tuesdays as well. When you first come in, we do have a small gift shop, but we have 2 stories here. It doesn't look as like the building is that big from the outside, But we do have 2 stories of exhibits, and you can spend as much or as little time as you want to looking and diving into all those exhibits. We actually have some kids areas and exhibits outside as well. And during different times of the year, we're actually in my classroom right now. And so this is where we will have classes throughout the year. But right next door, we have our laser shot game, which is basically a video game, and you get to practice your hunting skills. You can do duck hunting and feral hog hunting, and so that's always a big thing. I would definitely check that out. Our exhibits upstairs, we've got a trapping corner where you can see some furs and things like that, and all the different kinds of traps that are used. Let's see what else. Oh, our Snacker Scat game is super fun. I would definitely recommend playing that, but don't actually say it. One thing that people don't really think about is there's no cell signal here. And so whenever you're looking at these maps on your phones for hiking trails and stuff, you want to make sure and download those maps, because once you get here, you don't have access to them. And so I always recommend that people do that. Make sure and tell somebody where you're going, because once again, you're not going to be able to call and for help necessarily, depending on where you're at. So if something happens, somebody needs to know where you're at. And then I would say, making sure that you've got plenty of water and some snacks and stuff, because some of our trails in this area are pretty strenuous, and if you're not prepared for that, you may find yourself in a difficult situation. Well, we do sell hunting and fishing licenses here. So if you are visiting the area and just need a 3-day out-of-state license for fishing, or if you're a local person and need help purchasing your license, you can come here and we can take care of that for you as well.
Great job on that piece, Jim. That was really
well. That was all Lauren. I was just sitting there with a camera. That's all. And again, I really appreciated a lot of when it came to the conversation, as far as how mindful they are when it comes to the safety aspects of things and addressing it head on, because a lot of folks don't think about the things that we take for granted in normal life, right? Again, cell phone service. I know the first time we went out there a couple months back, and I totally didn't even think about it, and when you lose that cell phone service, you're back in the 20th century. And while there's a lot of really cool about that, but if you're out there and you're taking and doing the trails and everything, and how many folks go off grid anyway whenever they hop off of the trails, wanting to be adventurous, even more. And it's risky business, man. So to equip yourself with food and water, and also if you can do it a satellite phone, that's a great idea. But I don't know. But the place is amazing. I mean, it really is. With all the exhibits and the taxidermy. Oh my gosh, it's like
I was playing the shooting range game while you were interviewing her, and then I tried to get you to play the scat or snack game, and you wouldn't participate.
No, I tried, but I lost right out of the box. But then again, I try not to eat brown things off the ground in general. So I'm pretty.
You learned that, if nothing else. Eat nothing from the forest.
I'll chew on the bark, man. I'll give it a go. That'll be about the best I got, Or I will just continue to wander through the woods, because I know at some point I'm going to run into one of the Jasper Getaway cabins, and I know once I get in there, I'm set. Because there will be no scat on the floor there. Speaking of which. Again, another huge shout out to Jasper Getaways for making episodes such as this one right here of the Newton County Holler happen. And wow, check this one out. Now, like I say, last week we featured the barn, and that one is just gorgeous, blows me away. But then we went down the road yonder ways with Chris Burris, and he took us over to the Hasty Cutoff cabin that they had. And that thing is absolutely beautiful. Like, we should be surprised, right?
Another great one.
Oh, I
It's
tell you what.
amazing how they make
Because one of the
everything.
things that I was thinking when we were watching the video right there, that again with these high ceilings, and again, and you're out in the woods, right? But not a speck of dust to be found.
No,
I
it
mean,
was
for real,
awesome.
that is amazing to me, really and
I
truly.
love the way that they every space is just like ready for a memory. Every
Oh,
inch of the
yeah.
place, inside and out, is
Hmm.
like you can make a great memory here. I mean, this is, out of a book or something. They're all beautiful.
They really are. I mean, seriously, it's like for the folks who enjoy doing the selfies, you got a place at every square inch. You could do
Yeah.
something amazing. Let
And
alone,
enjoy it,
oh
the
yeah.
outdoors and everything. It's just a great space, really is. He's done
Mhm.
a wonderful job there, and we appreciate him and sponsoring the Holler.
Yep, very much so, indeed, because we get to do all kinds of fun stuff like share fire safety information with the chief,
Right.
as well as talking about that big bad moon rising over your shoulder that came by way of
We
the photo of the
do.
week.
This was a submission from Terry Atwood. Let me do this. And how's this for marketing? Whoops.
Hey, there it is. There you go. Watermark your stuff, kids.
Terry knows how to do it. Yes, this was the blood moon on the 14th of this month. I gotta admit, I didn't get to see it, but it was a pretty big deal, and there were some great photos, and Terry got one of them. So
That really
it was
is.
the photo of the
Absolutely.
week this time.
Right on.
And
Absolutely gorgeous.
I don't know if I mentioned it with Lauren, but I'm super excited to have her too. She's a great board member. I can't even begin to touch the amount of work that she did, not only for the board, but there at the Nature Center. And I know that her title has changed a little bit, educator, but she is a jack of all trades. And I'm convinced there's nothing she can't do. Same goes for Pam Emerson and the way she keeps that fire department and connection with all our rural fire departments and all those things going. So I just feel really fortunate today. This is a great episode.
Oh, absolutely. It says it's cause for celebration. Sort of like, what about those birthday peeps? What we got out there this
That's
week?
right. We got some of them. Let's see, coming up on the 25th is Jason Epperson with Epic Shots. You'll see a lot of Jason all around town at different events. And if you don't see him, you'll see some of his fantastic photos, I guarantee you. Then on the 27th, your friend of mine, Mr. Troy Massey, along with my nephew, Glendon Lackey. I remember that day a few years ago. And Kevin Johnson, that's all on the 27th. The 28th, we have Misha Husky, Quinn Riley. Then on the 29th, Angie Cash and Amanda Edgman. I know those gals. And then on the 31st, Wendy Finn, Les Murphy, who's a weatherman in his own right. Let me tell you, he keeps us up to date as well. And Sally Burleson all have a birthday on the 31st.
Right on. So there's a lot of celebrating going on and a lot of things to celebrate with and at and to and from. All
right.
throughout, and so once again we did it. We made it all the way through another episode of the Newton County Holler, brought to you by the Newton County Chamber of Commerce and the great folks of Jasper Getaways at jaspergetaways.com. And let's see, now we are getting into the spring season, as Lauren was talking about. When it comes to getting around, you've got some really cool guides that folks can check out to help them in that process.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, Jim. We're actually holding off on printing our visitor's guide just a skosh, because the state has decided to pull their dining and lodging cards from the welcome centers. So if any of those folks want to get into the guide, we're going to extend it for a couple weeks here and make sure everybody that wants in gets in, because we can still present that visitor's guide. But also, I wanted to mention the maps. When you were talking about getting lost, we have maps on the website, newtoncountychamber.com. And not only that, but downloadable maps. That is the coolest thing. Didn't know these existed. There's a little blue dot, like when you look at yourself on Google Maps. Mm-hmm. But it's on a map of Newton County, and you can literally follow that thing. I love to watch it when we're not in Newton County and we're getting ready to come back in. And so this little dot is on the outside of the map, and then you watch it go into the map. Anyway, I'm not doing a very good job explaining it, but you can use that. You can use that in your Avenza and Gaia apps, downloadable ARGF PDF that we have available for download at newtoncountychamber.com.
Oh, there you go. See, very well servicing you there, ladies and gentlemen of the community, the business community, far and wide, and so on and so forth. It's like, again, NewtonCountyChamber.com. Check it out because there are a lot of great resources, including, again, the Monday Minute. And you don't want to miss that because, again, it's so chock full of information, get you up to par pretty quick, like maybe even a minute. But I think it's going to run a little bit longer because there's so much more going on.
I know. I struggle to do it, I mean, I can't do it in a minute when we tape it here, and then I get that click in between. I don't know what's going on there. I gotta remedy that.
No, that's all right. You'll get there. Just a couple of those little energy drinks, right? That's what we'll say about there. Just kind of get you boosted and pumping and going. So with that said, though, we're going to wrap up this episode number 11. Thank you all very much for giving us reason to keep going on to 12 next week where, what's to come? Find out together right here as we continue to holler loud from the Newton County Holler.
Thanks.